It's yet another day working on the ceiling fans. And, yeah, I'm done with those annoying controls. We got the Encon control that came with the fan. It's 4 speeds, same as the one upstairs. And we have just a regular switch now for the Hunter. It already has a speed selection on it, and I like the speeds that it has, but I thought it would be fun to try out the variable speed controls for both of these since I had a couple of them. Too bad they were so noisy. I'll have to find another one of these, like maybe 4-speed controls or something for the little Princess. But for now, I don't know, we might try one of those rotary ones again until I figure out what I'd like to do for the Princess. I have an idea of exactly how I'm going to mount that and wire it up, so we're good there. Thought about it this week. The main thing is that I need to get the downrod and the fan put back together, but we'll work on that here a little bit later. But for now, we have our 2 controls. This one is set to low, and obviously the Hunter is on and also set to low. And we still have our master switch here. So if we turn that on, we get our fans going. And I wish I could get a lower low for this one, like a really slow aesthetic low. You know, the Hunter over there, it's at a very low. It could be lower, kind of like just a movement, you know, something to watch. The Encon, I can't get that low. You know, I was hoping I could do that with the variable one, but it's just so noisy, it's not worth it. So I'm not sure what I want to do there. But when it's on low here, it doesn't wobble as much as when it's on high or the higher speeds. But I found a scale, one of the many things that was left here at the house when I got it. And we'll use that to weigh each of the blades. Maybe some of them are heavier than others. I don't know. I'm hoping that I can place them a bit different to reduce the wobble that is present with this fan. After some quick calculations here, we can see this particular blade is 12.9 ounces. And I found that this one is also 12.9 ounces. But these two are 13 ounces even. So I'm going to try to put these two across from each other and these two across from each other, and hopefully that'll help with our balancing a little bit, because they all look very straight. Not one is bent up too much compared to the others, so I'm hoping this resolves it. I got the weights that match right across from each other now, and it seems to be balanced a little bit better, as you can see. Still has a slight wobble for sure, but it seems better than it was, so I'm happy with that. The old light from my parents I just got hung up here in the corner of the workout area. Works out well, plugs right into the switchable outlets, and I have a filament LED blue coated bulb in there. It's a Satco. I have a video of it on the main channel. It works really well in there. It gives it a very nice color. It looks a little washed out on camera, but it's a really nice blue in person. Okay, so here's the problem. The original down rods for the fixtures have a set same spacing or width of thread all the way up. Now the little pipes that you get at the store, it's kind of tapered, you know, to put it together, and as you tighten it, it gets tighter. Well, that doesn't exactly work for the ceiling fans. You need it to be this even, you know, thickness at the bottom and the top of the threading. So obviously this pipe, that doesn't have that. It has the angled, you know, it's tapered at the end here, and it gets wider. Well, obviously we need to do something about that. And that evened it out a little bit, but boy, was that work. Well, I stopped by Harbor Freight today. I don't go there often, but they had something I was looking for. This tap and die set here, and a 1/2-inch threader. Well, here it is. Do I have a vise or the correct tools to use this thing in? No, not at all. So we have it inside of this pipe wrench here, and we got some channel locks, and we're just going at it. Boy, do you need muscle to make this thing do absolutely anything. But we're getting somewhere. This threads onto the fan far enough that we can drill a hole in it to put the safety pin in. That was the whole goal of doing this, and we're getting there. This end, in particular, will thread onto the little one right here, and it covers up the hole. Perfect. That's just what I'm looking for. This is the hard one to do, because as you can see with the mount here, this hole is much closer to the beginning, so it's going to be easier to do. And again, I don't have the correct tools to use this thing with. Obviously, you need a vise and some big levers and stuff to make this thing do what it's supposed to, but you know what? We're making do. Now, all I need to do is the opposite side so that this one will fit, and it's about halfway into the hole right there to begin with. So we just need to do a little bit, and we'll be good to go. I'm going to repaint this again, and hopefully it'll be dry tomorrow morning, ready for us to put it together. Here's our down rod, ready for painting. As you can see, we got the holes drilled in either end there for the safety pins. Gave it a little bit of a light sanding and covered the ends. I use a little I have a bunch of rubber bands hanging out here on a hook, so I used some of those and just made a little thing to hold this up tonight so it can dry. Now we just need to paint it, and tomorrow we should at least have it dry enough to put the fan together. It is the next day, and our pipe is dry to the touch now. It's not sticky or anything anymore. Obviously, it sat overnight for over 12 hours, and we're good to go. So, here's our little fan motor. I just want to pick it up again and hold it in my hand just to show you how small this thing is. It is so cool. I love this little tiny fan. That is so cool. Okay, so let's get the tape off of this and try it out. There it is, looking pretty good. Of course, we have all these marks here from holding it with the pliers, but the cover should cover that up, and we shouldn't have any issues there. Now you can see this one is flat all the way down. It's not tapered anymore. That will be this side. And this side, I only got it down so far because I didn't have to do the whole thing, and then I tried to even it out, and that's for our mounting. So let's get this thing installed. The pipe worked great. The only thing I had to do was modify the canopies. They were slightly too small. Of course, the other pipe was a little smaller in diameter, I believe. And I just used a little grinding wheel that came with the Dremel and used that to widen the holes a little bit for the canopies, slid them right on, and there we go. Looking very good. And this is as high as I can get it. With the top canopy down, because it's not two-piece like the other one, it gives it just enough room to hook on over the hook up top without being in the way, and then you just slide the canopy back up. Obviously, we have the wire coming over, and it hides underneath the top canopy there nicely enough. And again, we'll compare that here to the 48-inch version. So that got it up about 1.5 inches higher than it was with the original down rod. And I'll take anything that can get it up a little higher just for safety reasons. So now we just need to clean up the blades, get them installed, and work on the control. There's the blades on it. It's not powered on, I just gave it a spin here, just to get a little bit of a look at it. I absolutely love this fan. So cool and awesome to have it here in the collection. Just look at the blades, they're like pitched upwards. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so now that we have it up here and all wired up, we need to go in there and wire it up to our little control center. But before we do that, I just realized I didn't talk about wiring this thing and how I wanted to do the wire here. I originally thought I wanted to do molding down and attach it to the outlet down here, but you know, that would kind of look ugly and in the way. So the second idea I had was using this molding like I used over here to connect the Encon and the Hunter, and bring it to the wall here, and then come down and put a little hole, and it would go into the wall and work its way over to the thing here. But then I thought, you can make it even easier. I can see this drywall piece right here on the other side, as you just saw. So why not use the molding here, some regular lamp wire, like would have came with one of the old swag, hanging kits for ceiling fans, and run it through a little hole there, as you can see, into the little control center area. And I think this works out great. We already have the old Noma Christmas lights going around the room, so the wire's hidden a little bit by that, because your eye is mostly drawn to the lights themselves, not necessarily the wire that's with it. And of course I did the same thing. I drilled some little holes, even one underneath here. So there's 1, 2, 3 nails that go into the ceiling, and let me tell you, just like the other one, this was an absolute pain to put together. But it's up there, it's not going anywhere, and it looks good. It's a little dirty because the stuff being paintable kind of has a matte finish on it, and it just absorbs any little oil you have in your hand, even if you wash your hands. So I'll just come back with like one of those magic eraser things and clean it up, and that'll be good once we're all said and done. But that's what I decided upon. Come across here and then go into the little closet area. I think that'll work out a lot better than having a control on the wall anywhere over here. It just makes it look more clean. And it's easy. It's just a little tiny hole that just goes right through the drywall and comes right on down. And sure, it's not, you know, to code like any of these, but it's not necessarily hidden in a wall either. It's accessible at every single point. So we'll have that fan control right here. And this is our master for everything. That'll control all 3 fans. Of course, our Hunter, the 48-inch Encon, and then I'll put one of those variable speed ones on here for now. I'm sure it'll make it noisy, but it's the only control I have at the moment. I'll think about what I want to put on it eventually, or maybe I'll just leave it. We'll have to see, but like I say, I'm sure it'll be some type of noise like we had when we had these. But hey, it's better than nothing, and at least we'll get it up and running. So, of course, we'll get this wire in here and wire it up. Is it perfect? No. Does it work? Yes. So, we have our master, the Encon Princess, the big Encon, and the Hunter Original here. This I dialed in with the little dial that you can do there with a little tiny screwdriver, and got it as low as I can go without the fan stalling out, so that's great. So let's see how well it works with the little Princess Encon. So we'll turn on the main master switch. It's already on low. Let's take a look. And it's starting off. I'm not sure how fast of a low this will be. I just kind of dialed it in by turning on and off the master switch until it would actually start on its own on low. Other than that, I think it would be too low otherwise, and it would stall out. But it seems that we have a decent low here. It's not super fast, and it doesn't seem to be speeding up any more than it currently is. And I like this. It's aesthetic. It's not too fast of a low. And it seems to be quiet for the most part. I wonder if not dialing in the little thing, I want to say rheostat. That's probably not what it is, but it's the first word that's coming to my mind. That little tiny detail trimmer is probably a better word. Dialing it in correctly for this one is why it was so loud. Not sure. I had music playing while I was dialing this one in, so I wasn't exactly listening to if it was loud or not. But yeah, there's the low with the variable speed control. So let's go back in here and let's turn it all the way up to high and take a look at that. Oh yeah, it flies. That thing is beautifully balanced. Wow. Okay, out of curiosity, let's try it on a medium, somewhere in between. So if we have high here, we go all the way around, that's low. So let's try kind of in the middle here and see if we get any hum. Yeah, there's certainly a little bit of hum, but it's not too loud. It's definitely there, though. Much quieter than the 48-inch Encon over here. Much, much quieter. Yeah, I think this fan will be absolutely fine on the variable speed control, thankfully. Oh, I love it. Okay, it's coming together. So let's put it on low. Let's turn it off there. We'll set this all the way to low. And we have high, medium, low, extra low, I guess. I don't know. There's 4 speeds on the original Encon control here. And we'll turn on the Hunter. Again, don't have a control for that because, well, it has one on the fan itself. So there's our little fan setup. Let's go ahead and turn the master switch on. These two are coming to life. So is our little one over there. Very cool. I like it. Yeah, even the lowest of lows for this big guy, it's still kind of fast for my liking, but it is so much quieter than the variable speed one was. Again, maybe that's because I didn't dial in that trimmer. Not entirely sure. But I'm really liking this setup. Super, super happy with it. And our little princess over here. Well, the iMac 2006 20-inch is taken apart again. Here's the logic board and the heat sinks. I'm currently in the middle of redoing the paste here. And yeah, it's real brittle and doing a whole lot of nothing. So I do think that this will make a difference. A couple of you commented about that in the original video of this machine. I really want to get it working better. So I have some time today and here we are. So cleaning it up, we'll get some new compound on there and we'll put it back together. There's the CPU inside of it. For some reason, I'm surprised that it's actually socketed. I thought it would be kind of soldered on there, but it's not. It looks like you just twist the lock there if you're going to lock it in place or not. Interesting. It is the weekend yet again, and it is time to see what we can get off of this fixture here, at least in terms of paint. Here's an end plate off so you can get an idea of these weird sockets. They're kind of multi-layered and insulated with this kind of fiberboard stuff. Bolted together. I wonder why they decided to go with this instead of a traditional socket. Interesting design. But as you can see, we have multiple layers of paint here to take off. It looks like the original color is this kind of ivory. It may have been white back in the day, but ivory here. We have a typical green for the time, which you can see underneath it. Looks like whoever did paint it green at least took these caps off so that they could paint the whole thing green, unlike the second person that painted it white or ivory and, well, didn't do that. So we'll get this apart and start putting some of this stuff on and see how it works versus regular acetone remover. Just taking it apart here. Here's the sockets on this side, but these sockets are different. You can see a spring down in there, and they're spring loaded. This one's kind of stiff, but this one moves here. They're spring loaded, so you can get the bulb in and out. And here's the inside. You can see same type of construction with the starter sockets. Very interesting. The ballasts here are quite chunky for what they are. Unfortunately, you can't read really anything on them. Yeah, it's kind of hard to read. Moe Brothers Manufacturing Company, Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin. Ooh, that's interesting. What does that say at the top there? Something ballast for 20-watt fluorescent lamp, 118 volt, 60 cycle AC, number 303091. What does it say? Manufactured and constructed by, and then of course what we just read at the bottom there. Kind of hard to read. Interesting. Made in Wisconsin, right where it came from. Definitely looks like it was some type of white enamel back in the day. The finish is in real good shape right here, so I think that's the original color. There's the insides of the fixture. And we have all the hardware, starters there, old ceramic sockets, and all the other pieces as well. So that needs to be cleaned up. As you can see, no markings or sticker or anything like that as to who made it. I wonder if the ballast manufacturer maybe made it then. Anyway, let's work on the flying saucer adapter here. This definitely will need paint redone on it. So let's get this ballast and everything out of here too, since we're already on the journey of doing this one. And there's the parts from the Circle Line fixture. Got the ballast removed and the starter socket. starter socket. It does say Sylvania on it. And there's the ballast. Pretty big ballast. Now, I want to get these holders off for the bulb so we can get it nice and cleaned up. And here's the inside of the last light. See, more slightly modern design than these interesting sockets. We have a 2-lamp GE ballast, and the sticker is gone, but here it is. It has just fallen off of the ballast itself, so we'll try to keep that around somewhere nice. But yeah, there's our sockets, ballast, and we'll get this one taken apart too and cleaned up, because why not? Got the heat fan on because it's a hot one. But we got everything out here. There's all of our ballasts and equipment. Now it's time to give these a scrubbing just to clean them up, all the different pieces here. And then we will try applying some of this stuff to get rid of the paint and see where that goes. Yesterday, I started by applying some of that paint remover on the Circle Line adapter here. And you can see I've already taken a decent amount of the paint off. I let it sit overnight. I just did a new recoat this morning, and it's starting to get the rest of it off. Of course, some of the stuff that isn't coming off, you know, the original paint, I'm sure it was some type of enamel or something. It's probably not going to get that off, but that's fine. We'll just, however it ends up is what I'll determine if I want to continue to try to remove that or just paint directly over it. We'll see when we get that far. The original cover here, like, see, some things it bubbles up real good. Like this, it's not bubbling up at all. It's real weird. It really depends on the type of paint. Like the house paint they put on here, that's coming up pretty decent. Definitely needed a couple coats to actually loosen some of it, but you can see the original color underneath. So after scraping some of it off here this morning on this old cooking sheet, I decided to put more on the back here, and you can see it's starting to get more of it up. It just takes time. But then there's the other fixtures I decided to do this morning. So you can see some of it starting to come up here on these little adapters. And we have the end pieces for the fluorescent. Boy, those are really doing something. And here is the cover for the fluorescent. Now look on this side here, it's really bubbled up. And over here, we got to bubble up here, but not much here. I don't know if they just didn't put enough paint there, so there's nothing real thick for it to get up, and maybe that green paint underneath is a different style of paint, so it's not as effective on it. Not entirely sure. But I'm going to let it sit for longer, and we'll see. Maybe all this will eventually bubble up. It just takes more time than, you know, the other paint or something. So that's where we're currently sitting. We're getting everything removed of paint, and it's working quite well. I mean, it doesn't smell as bad as if you're using the pure acetone type stuff, the real potent stuff. I'm sure maybe that would work slightly better than this, but it's not too bad. I have a box fan in the window up here. It's not even a window, it's kind of exhaust vent, in the roof. And it just sits up there. It works great to exhaust the fumes out of here on a hot day to get some of the heat out. So we're doing just fine in here. Not much else I can do here at the moment, really. I suppose I could get some paint off of some of these items too. But yeah, slowly but surely. It's yet another day, and it's truly incredible seeing years of paint just come right off. In fact, this fixture might clean up well enough. I'm going to do another coat on it. I need to. And if I can get all this paint off, I'd like to just leave it this wonderful aluminum finish. It's in really good shape, and that would look pretty cool. All these other ones will get off what has at least bubbled, and then from there we will reapply and do it again.